and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Bet.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that?
Yeah. Huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. You're
listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Accidentally declared the Saints win over the Cowboys was a major disaster. Now, this is a screenshot of a FEMA press release. It says assistance is available to Texas for recovery efforts in the area affected by New Orleans Saints 44-19 victory over the Cowboys. In a follow-up, FEMA says it mistakenly sent the news release, which was intended for training purposes only.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I actually got a screenshot of this press release from friends and family. I'm like, okay, guys, like it's not real. It's not legit. I think that we were all very sad when it came Monday and we realized that we were not victorious. Yes. But we're going to be okay. I don't think it's that serious.
Any tongue in cheek.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, big ups to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the stream, man, on this one, man. It's funny, man. This is funny when I was supposed to play this for y'all other day, man. But one more time for the Cowboys fans in the back.
And FEMA is doing a little recovery of its own after it accidentally declared the Saints win over the Cowboys was a major disaster. Now, this is a screenshot of a FEMA press release. It says assistance is available to Texas for recovery efforts in the area affected by New Orleans Saints 44-19 victory over the Cowboys. In a follow-up, FEMA says it mistakenly sent the news release, which was intended for training purposes only. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, training purposes, all right. Big ups to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the building. I think that's an absolute first, to be honest with you, fam. I think that's a first. I've never known FEMA to prank anybody before. I've never seen that happen before. That's a first. That's an absolute first. So shout out to the fam. Let's give FEMA a round of applause for having a personality. That's pretty cool, man. All right, man. Listen, that's just one parting shot for the Dallas Cowboys, and we on to the next one, man. Got a handful of days before We get to the game day matchup, man. It's going down. Much love to the fam. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma, Big Q and the guys, but we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. How y'all doing, man? It's Friday. Got through another week. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. I see everybody, man. Much love to everybody. Young City in the building. Be great, Josh, Clyde, big ups to you. What's up, OG in this building as well. Shout out to my boy Hoodie. Pelicans, Nola as well. Good to see you, man. Gundam is in this thing. Big ups to you, fam. Appreciate you as well. All right. Yes, up. What's up, Sandra? Good. She said she said she even more nervous this week. Don't be nervous. You got a good team. But, like I said, man, just enjoy the games. Because the reality is, man, listen, Saints clobbered these first two teams early on, but I'm cautioning family members. I've seen a lot of football, especially Saints football, which is a combination of good, bad, and in the middle. Seen a lot of football, and I'm gonna tell y'all straight up and straight down like this: the Saints beat the hell out of these first two teams very convincingly, but please have a week by week approach, because it's still a very long season. And as you beat these teams down, these other teams coming, they're going to study you harder. They're out of whack right now. A lot of teams don't have a sense of identity. They're still ironing out the wrinkles. So these games are going to get a lot more difficult. That's the thing about the NFL. They scheme you. You put out enough tape, they'll try to study ways to stop you in games. And plus you are starting to get a lot of attention, as opposed nobody was really paying you attention. Everybody thought Saints was a bottom feeding team. So as we move forward, you're going to start getting a lot more attention from different teams, and they're going to play you different, which is good, because we want to see if this team is the real deal Holyfield. They look good through 2 weeks, but once again, it's just 2 weeks. We still got a ton of football left, but I'm loving what I'm seeing. I ain't going to tell you no different. All right, big ups to you. Good to see you, Dana. Shout out to your brother Willie's in this thing. Good to see you, Big Velly. Shout out, fam. Appreciate you. What's up, Lori? Shout out to you. Good to see the queens and the kings of Tacoma in here representing the mighty Who Dat Nation. Big ups to y'all. All right, Who Dat Daddy, big ups to you. Dr. Drew's in the building as well. DJ Twigger, what's up, brother? How you doing? Much love in the building as well. All right, who else we got? L-Dubs in this thing. Julius is in this thing. Dr. Key with the key says if we stop jailing running, we'll be good. He's a big part of it, bro. I told Bird Game, who we did. If y'all didn't get a chance to see the Saints Eagles preview, please feel free to check that out. That's good stuff, man. We if you don't know about the Eagles, Bird Game came in representing Bird Game 31, Philly side of things, diehard Philly man, has some good game about the Eagles, about their philosophy, some of their best players, things that they like to do, what they're not doing well. He gave a data dump, there to let us know what time it is, even put us on game of some of the best players and guys that need to step it up. So if y'all didn't see that preview stream, please feel free to check that out after we get off of here. All right. It'll get you ready, man. Good preview that was. All right, what's up, John? How you doing, sir? Good to see you in the building as well. Much love to everybody, man. But yeah, Jalen Hurts is a big part of it, man. If I didn't see you, fam, y'all give me a who dat, and I give you a who dat back, baby. All right, so big ups, man. Happy Friday afternoon, man, as we getting ready to jump right into our stream. Let's look at the injury report, fam, and this is one powered by the Saints, New Orleans Saints.com. What's up, Julius? Good to see you, sir. Chiming in from Minnesota. Damn, Julius. I didn't know you was in Minnesota, bro. Shout out to you, my man. Appreciate you for being here. Brother Kai in this thing as well. Much love, Brother Kai. Appreciate you. All right, let's take a look at it, fam. 12 Saints on the Friday injury report. This is the final injury report, fam, as we know, and this is the one that tells you pretty much who's going to play and who's not going to play. Of course, Jalen Ford looked good. All the way through is good. I don't know if he more than likely, based on what happens, he might just be an active scratch. They do that from time to time. Rashid Shaheed is good after having a hip issue. Marshon Lattimore went from limited to fully practiced. So Laddie Daddy is back in the building for the Saints. We got a chance to see Kool-Aid McKinstry get out there and make it pop for the Black and Gold Nation, right? And Kool-Aid got out there and made some plays, man. Kool-Aid was out there doing this thing. He had he's like fourth in tackles, I want to say. He was excellent. Kool-Aid did his thing. We get Laddie Daddy back. And that's the crazy part about it is the Saints secondary was still very much good in these two affairs, and especially last game, missing our best cornerback in Lattimore. He's back. So that'll be cool seeing him. Tali Fuaga is good with his back, went from limited to fully practiced. So we should see Tali take it up another level without that ailing back situation. Shout out to Tyrann Mathieu, had a heel. He went full practice today. So limited to full, that's good. Cedric Wilson, our potential third wide receiver, he had Adam's situation. He was limited, and chances are we might be able to see Cedric Wilson in the game. It'll be interesting to see if the Saints get him involved. DeMarco Jackson, the linebacker, is questionable. Colin Sanders is, of course, out. We know Bink is not going to play for, maybe another couple of weeks here. They could take their time with him. The defensive line looks good, but imagine when Bink does come back and Tanu Passanio can come back later on, man. Imagine that. That's going to be big, too. Taysom, a lot of people's paying attention to Taysom. He was DMP, then limited, and he's listed as questionable. All indications that Taysom should play in the game. Landon Young was a DMP, so chances are Landon might not be the guy. We had some concerns about Will Harris. He had a shin issue, but he was limited Friday and listed as questionable. And then A.T. Perry went from limited to fully practiced, but is still listed as questionable. So we had, questions in terms of the wide receivers. But man, the way the Saints have been using the wide receivers, we've seen, we haven't seen, A.T. Perry as much. We haven't seen Cedric Wilson because of the issue. But man, the Saints still have guys, offensively speaking, that they have not gotten out there and getting an opportunity to show. So Cedric Wilson, the veteran, coming in, we'll see what he got later on. A.T. Perry had a hand issue. And people want to see A.T. Perry, man. A.T. just not a big, tall receiver, but A.T. has some speed too. Good red zone receiver. So we got a lot of really good players, man, just getting there. And if we get down to Philly ain't got a lot of stuff shaking from the injury report. A.J. Brown is out. At first, they was listing him as doubtful, but he's out for this game. Thinking about the long implications, it's not a playoff game. You need to get A.J. Brown back. So, they're going to take their time, and they should. Johnny Wilson, another wide receiver who was DMP'd, went to fully practice today because they have a ton of injuries in terms of their wide receivers. And we talked about, I mentioned it in the preview stream. Listen, fam, there's some people that we need to watch out for here, because the Philadelphia Eagles are, like I said, they look like a team that's still trying to iron out the wrinkles. We're fortunate to be a fireball right now, but still one of my key concerns is we don't burn out. You start hot and then you burn out. This is a long season. So hopefully we can just cruise. And if we have issues here or there, we a week by week approach. We don't buy into the hype. We don't get too hyped up. And even though the Super Bowl's in our backyard, we got to be even killed here because we don't want to get too high too soon. It's a long season. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, as they say, right? That's very true. So remember that. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and we have to be able to take care of the business week in and week out. You see? So anyway, Johnny Wilson is there. Just to mention this, and I was talking about the wide receivers. They have two wide receivers there. Wilson's the backup guy. Of course, who A.J. Brown is. Smitty, the other fantastic wide receiver they had, in Dotson. I used to talk a lot about Dotson, man, when prior to the draft a couple of years back about this wide receiver. He's a small wide receiver, got blazing speed. I was promoting for the Saints to try to pick him up to give them some help, but ultimately what happened is Philly picked this kid up, and John Dotson is a burner, and he's the guy that they want to get involved in this offense to stretch out the Saints defense. So the Saints, in terms of a deep ball threat, we have to watch out for Dotson. Now, people, we're going to pay attention to Smitty as well as you're supposed to, Dallas Goedert. But those are the issues, Saquon Barkley. So the order goes Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Smitty, and then Goedert, and then everybody else, right? But you know that if you put pressure on Jalen Hurts and, do your best to slow him down. I don't know if you stop him, but do your best to contain him and spy him and slow him down as much as you can, make him uncomfortable, take his running attack away. And Barkley's a brutal running back as well. They don't do the committee approach, like they don't run Barkley and then throw Gainwell in there, or they don't do that. But we'll see what they got going, because there was a lot of talk. I was monitoring a lot of the Philly news media, and they're talking about mixing it up. So some of the stuff we've seen in those two games might be coming at a change. You're going to see some other guys get involved. So I'm kind of putting people on game. We know about Barkley. We know about Jalen Hurts, but watch out for these other guys. Watch out for the Dotsons, the deep threat. Watch out for the complement running back situation that they mix in there. So we have to watch that as well. And of course, we know Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was dealing with a foot issue. He was DNP'd and listed as questionable. Now, we've heard him saying that he was supposed to play, but he has a questionable situation going on. I don't know if we'll see him. And if he's not at his best, that might be a problem, because if it's a foot, and, that could be problematic for their secondary, which they got some players there as well. So anyway, that's some positive stuff right here for the black and gold going into the Eagles game. Number one, Lattimore is back. Number two, Taysom Hill is listed as questionable. All indications he's supposed to play. Tali Fuaga is listed as fully practiced. So is Tyrann Mathieu. We'll see Cedric Wilson, perhaps A.T. Perry, some of those guys in there. So we'll see some new wrinkles, as it were, for the New Orleans Saints rolling in. Right. So y'all hit the like button for me, man, as we get going in this thing, man. Big ups to the fam. Good to see y'all. Brother Charles, I see you, fam. Much love. Saints for Life says Saints track record on stopping the run against the Eagles in recent years hasn't been good. Hurts is sneaky. Barkley is no joke. So Saints defensive tackles and linebackers got to be on their game. Indeed, bro. Absolutely 100% truth to you, what you just said there, my friend. All right. What's up, Pete? Shout out to Pete as well. Brother Gundam says Saints maintain lane integrity on defense. We should win. Indeed, bro. I'm with you. Walk for Jesus International Disciple Revival says they will underestimate our defense, and they're going to find out. Yeah. And that's the thing. I like the overall. What's up, Louisiana? It's just the overall excellent mentality and mind frame of the Saints as a whole, with a week by week approach. And like I said, we love seeing some great football. We really do. Love seeing some splendid football by the black and gold. We love it, man. We deserve this right now. After watching the last 3 years of up and down football, that's why I caution the family members. There's been some heartbreaking stuff going on over here, and it just hadn't been too good for a lot of the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. So I often caution the people, have fun, but be mindful that it is only week 3, and we got a lot of football left, baby. You got Philly here, then Atlanta behind them, and then Kansas City, and then people looking past Tampa Bay. Don't look past Tampa Bay. Please don't. Tampa Bay think they slick. I see you, Tampa. I see what Tampa Bay trying to do. Tampa Bay said, we're going to let Atlanta take all that smoke. We won a division. He said, hey, guys, we won a division 3 times in a row. They disrespecting us. They think we can't play football here. We won it 3 times in a row. They saying Atlanta going to win it this year. The Saints blowing out teams. So what we going to do? We just going to fly right up under the radar. You ain't going to fly up under no radar. We watching you. In 3 weeks, we going to see y'all too. So, yeah, they going to fly because nobody putting pressure on them. Nobody talking to them. We got you. We got you. It's a game-by-game approach. That's the approach. All right, anyway, fam, let's keep it moving and grooving, man, as we move to the next one. I got one more article I'm going to share with you guys. Shout out to John Sigler. The Saints Wire says almost 2/3 of the expert picked Saints to beat the Eagles. Now, of course, they had that horrible game against the Atlanta Falcons last week. I see last week, but it's Monday. So the Eagles are playing the Saints on a short week, right? So a game that came down to the last drive, and really you seen it was crumbling. The moment was bigger than Philadelphia. And it started when they marched down there. Jalen threw the ball to Barkley. He drops the ball. They settle for the field goal. There are no timeouts for the Falcons, and the Falcons get the ball and march the field. Terrible defense. Not one time did they make one stop on that final drive. They basically escorted That's what it was. They escorted the Atlanta Falcons offense down the field and let them score a touchdown to win the game because they needed a touchdown to beat the team. They couldn't kick a field goal. They needed a touchdown. They let them, they had no timeouts, but they let their wide receivers get out of bounds. What foolishness was that? If I was an Eagles fan, like a lot of them were pissed. They were pissed in the first game when they were making all these weird calls and they had these close situations going on where they were going to lose the game. And then ultimately they were able to get there. Too many really short moments, a lot of mistake. And I was looking at, matter of fact, let me tell y'all this. Went back and looked at that week 1 game. And I looked at this, took another peek at this Monday night game with the Eagles. They make a ton of mistakes. And that's because, like I said, it's week 1 and week 2, a ton of mistakes. So not saying they'll do that in week 3, because like I said, it takes 3 to 4 weeks before teams start knowing what they got going on. And you're getting into that threshold of 3 to 4 week window, depending on the progression or the IQ and the overall learning ability of the particular team. So the Eagles definitely have talent. They have enough talent and the right talent to make deep playoff run, and early on you're getting them. So you might not be getting a completed product, but still in all, we got to get the dub. No disrespect to them, but it's just what it is. We got to get the dub. All right, let's get into this one by Mr. Sigler here. He says beating the snot out of the Cowboys helped the New Orleans Saints win over a lot of doubters, but they don't have everyone on their side just yet. Yeah, it's just 2 weeks. 2 weeks, man. That's too much I can understand if we was 8 to 9 weeks in, but remember your history. It's been 3 weeks of stinking, rotten, back-ass football for the black and gold, man. We got 2 wins and a very beautiful, pretty wins. Don't get me wrong. They're very awesome, beautiful women wins. You get what I'm saying? They're pretty, very beautiful wins, right? Awesome wins, spectacular wins. I love them. But it's still just 2 weeks. 2 weeks is not enough time for me to say, hey, man, we going. It's not enough. It's too much football remaining. You can't say to me, maybe some people you do, not me. 2 weeks is not enough for me to say, okay, this, that, and the third after watching 3 years of funk ass football. I'm sorry. Well, I need to see more of this. And we got to do, and like I said, we have a lot of time left. It is a ton of games left against teams. So we'll see how it's going. According to a survey done by PickWatch, about 37% of former players, media analysts, and national writers and other experts like the Eagles to pull off a road win at the Superdome on Sunday. Roughly 63% picked the Saints on Friday. Is that a surprise? Is that the surprise? The media personnel, let me give you a hint on some of these national media people. They don't watch the Saints like we do. Now, they want to pretend like they do, but they don't watch the Saints like you do. They'll catch the highlights of the Saints, say, hey, man, and then they'll prattle off. They'll do stat prattling, like I call it. They don't watch all the games. They can't watch all the games in the time that they're sitting up there. They can't watch all of the games. So I know this. So when you're a specialized person and you focus on your team and perhaps the team you scout for the upcoming week, you'll go watch film on them and then you'll do a week by week thing. But they don't watch the Saints all the time. They really don't. So understanding that, it really don't impress me that a lot of these people are picking the Saints to win this game, because a lot of times these people are pushed by the wind. Whatever the wind blows, they go over there. You see? So there's more than 1/3 of football, the cognicity or whatever you call it, picking against the Saints. New Orleans slightly favored in this game, but it's understandable to see so many questions being raised about them. They're the highest scoring offense in the league, having proven those experts wrong 1 week ago. But how real is the resurgence? The last 2 years with Dennis Allen head coach could be meaningful than their last 2 games, which means the mission is the same as it ever was. Prove the doubters wrong. No, first of all, no, don't worry about proving the doubters wrong. Just win. Prove that you're a championship team. You don't have to worry about the doubters. Don't worry about the doubters. Listen, fam. Game, right quick, right? Game. If you got somebody that's a supporter, somebody that you care and that you love with, that you rocking with, somebody that proved themselves to you to be reliable, respectable, trustworthy, and all of the above, they're who you would focus on. I'm not concerned with people that doubt who I am. And let me tell you something. A great percentage of the people that are doubting you, most of the time, they're looking at your actions. And sometimes the energy that you're giving off is a doubtful energy. So in retrospect, in the universe, it's like a big mirror. Whatever's put out, you get back. That's what it is. So if you're putting out a powerful, positive, loving energy, you're probably going to reciprocate that. It's like the old saying about planting something. You plant corn. It's the law of the universe, right? If you planting apples or you're growing apples, you're planting a fruit or whatever you're growing. If you put apple seeds in the ground to grow, you're gonna get apple seed. You're gonna get apples back. You're gonna grow a plant that's gonna give you some apples. It's not gonna give you oranges. That's a violation. It's a violation. So whatever you put in the ground and you till to it, you will get that back. You're not going to put down apple seeds and get oranges back unless that's something wrong there. So that's the divine universe, how the creator set it all up. So in essence, like a lot of people point at doubters and say, da, 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 da. And some of these other people, they are out of their minds. Let's be honest. A lot of people says a lot of really off kilter commentary, but if you are a person that give good critique, then you can take what they use and go about your business. But if somebody's doubting you, you don't look to prove the doubters wrong, because sometimes the doubters are basically reflecting what you've given them. Now, you do have people out there that don't want to see you succeed at all. That's a small percentage of it. But most of the time, your energy is what you send out. And sometimes people subconsciously react to what you've given them. That's game. That's really what happens. So if you don't like what you're getting from people, you can go there, here, or there, and they're giving you the same energy. That's you. You got to do some introspection. So it's not about proving doubters wrong. It's all about correcting the errors in yourself and then going out and performing to the best of your ability. That should be enough. That's always enough, because it's not about perfection, man. It's about progress. You'll never reach perfection. Game now, you'll never reach perfection. Never. You won't ever reach it. But it's all about progress. It's going on the path toward it, because it never stops. Even when you leave from here and you go on to the next level, you're going to still be on another journey. It is progress. It's all about process. So you got to have the energy, or the inner God in you to be able to utilize that to push you even further. That's where you get it from, because it's inside of you. So it ain't about the doubters. It's about proving yourself and what you could do, and you overachieving and getting to where you need to be. That's what it's about. That's game. All right. So anyway, let's get back to this, man. I just wanted to drop that right here, because it's never about the doubters, man. Never about the doubters. It's about you doing the best that you can do and making the progress, looking at yourself from an introspective, not getting overconfident, and looking at the fact that when you start feeling comfortable, that's when you're going to start falling. You're not supposed to comfort. When you start getting comfortable, that's when stuff starts falling apart. That's what Derek Carr was saying in part when he was talking about what he needed to do to be better. Derek Carr said, I needed to do this. I had to go back to running hard like I did in college. I started lifting more. I had to go back and look at the tape. I didn't like how I looked on film. My feet was all wrong. He ain't said about he was staring people down, but he knew that was one of the things that he was talking about, because that's what he was doing. He ain't staring nobody down. He studied that on film. His coaches got him. You have to keep improving yourself. You got to improve. When you start getting comfortable, that's when you start failing. Remember that. All right. So anyway, let's push it, man. All right. So anyway, which means the mission is the same as ever. I'm not with that. The Eagles were a trendy preseason Super Bowl pick, and their uneven 1-1 start have left them looking vulnerable. The Saints could stick a fork in them with another dominant win this Sunday. You figure New Orleans is bound to slow down sooner or later. Clint Kubiak's offense is new, and teams don't have much film to study on it just yet. They may have a favorable strength of schedule, but at some point, teams are going to stay keying on Kubiak's tendencies and adjusting accordingly. That could start as soon as this week. The Eagles aren't an opponent they can take lightly. No, they're not. The Eagles are, and he's absolutely right. The Eagles not an opponent that you would want to take lightly. They're not. Well, I got the wrong background here. I'm on PPR. Where my stuff at? Oh, there we go. Oh, there. Now I'm in my spirit here. But listen, fam, all I'm saying is at the end of the day, man, listen, the Eagles have a good offense, right? They got a quarterback that is a problem. They got a running back that is a problem. They got a very good offensive line, right? They have a tight end that is also a decent weapon. They have a system. They brought in a new offensive coordinator to kind of run that system. And that is the step. So they have a defense that is underachieving, but a lot of the defensive personnel are there. They're just not playing well. So that's up to Vic Fangio. They needed a kick in the butt to get to where they needed to be. So what's that mean? That pretty much means that with Vic Fangio challenging these players against the Saints, and they're looking at the first 2 games. So you're going to see a different team, even though they are on the short week. It's supposed to be a disadvantage. I don't think that will be. I think the Eagles will be ready to prove themselves against the Saints and seeing the Saints as an opponent of respectability because they have a hot start. So this will be in a lot closer game than you think. Now, if they 40-burger the Eagles, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, okay, that's what I'm talking about. But we still got to keep this thing moving. We got Atlanta behind them and all this kind of stuff. So we just beat their ass and keep it moving. You know what I mean? But we'll see, man. I'm looking forward to this game because this is the first game that we will face this season where they have a very serious running back and quarterback combination that are good at running that is based on a team success that we'll have to slow down. So that will be a good test for our black and gold family members, right? All right. So anyway, shout out to you guys, man. Let's move on, man. Let me get this keyed up here. Let me go here. I'm going to play this stuff right here by John Gruden. Shout out to John Gruden, man. He's doing some good work. As you can look, he looks kind of evil right there. His Coach Chucky bag right there. Coach Chucky in his Coach Chucky bag. Let me play this for you guys right quick with Coach Chucky. Just a little bit of insight on what he thinks about the Saints and Eagles. Here we go.
Line. They come off the ball, man, low. They come off in concert with their hands and their feet, and they just get leverage on you, and they swarm you, man. They swarmed the Dallas Cowboys last week. There were some Cowboys that were, poof, boom, knocked on the ground. It was impressive. And I expect that to continue. But their leverage, their hand usage, and their feet is impressive. And when New Orleans wants to get the ball on the perimeter, I'm talking toss sweeps, quick screens to Kamara. You ought to see these offensive linemen run. I mean, Ruiz, the right guard, makes an incredible block against the Panthers on a quick screen. Trevor Penning pulls around the horn against the Cowboys on a toss crack. They're having a lot of fun. And their offensive line coach, Benton, he deserves something. I'm going to send him something. I don't know, a Gruden grinder head. They do a great job with their blocking combinations. What is so good about their running game? It's the combinations. Sometimes the right tackle and the right guard are working together against the defensive lineman and a linebacker. Well, they got to block that combination level 1 to level 2, and they got to do an excellent job with the timing of it. And nobody's doing it better right now than the New Orleans Saints. And they're blessed to have Alvin Kamara, perhaps the hottest all-purpose back going right now. Alvin Kamara, over 180 yards of all-purpose yardage last week against the Cowboys, rushing, receiving. He's not tough. He's nasty tough. Last week, I was watching the broadcast. I was watching it carefully. Micah Parsons comes unblocked. You know who blocked him? Who do you think blocked him? Kamara. He does it all, with the ball and without the ball. And when they get the ball inside the 10-yard line, you would think a man of his size would come off the field. No. Kamara stays in a game, and he runs possessed. I just love the way he runs. He's elusive. He can make you miss, or he can, boom, drop it on you, man. He's a hell of a back. They also have Taysom Hill, and they're really doing a great job of maximizing Taysom Hill's versatility. He got hurt last week against Dallas, hurt his chest. We're hoping he's okay and ready to go for this game. I'm sure he will be, but you never know until the trainer tells you so. But last week, I saw him play fullback. He played tailback. He played tight end. He played in the slot. He played quarterback. He's a joker. You got cards? You got 5 cards. You're playing poker. If you get a joker, he can be whatever you want him to be. He could be a 4 of clubs. He could be an ace. He could be a jack. He could be whatever you want. That's what Taysom Hill is. When he's in the game, what the hell is he? Are we getting ready for the Wildcat? What are we getting ready for? He's driving defenses crazy, and he's running with the same intent Kamara has. They're really running possessed.
That's the question, and that's the point. If you watch the film, that's the thing. He's running possessed. He got that it's a contract year. And like I said, Coach Chucky is breaking it down. But that's the thing I told. I was telling the black and gold. Y'all know this. I was telling the Philly people this about what we're gonna do to the Saints, this, that, and the third. Listen, fam. The combination of talent that the Saints have and how Clint Kubiak is rolling these guys out is very difficult for defenses to deal with, because there's a lot of pre-snap motion. They don't know where the ball is, and by the time they figure out where the ball is, the weapons are already upfield. The guys are already upfield. And then the fact that, like we talk, we have to. I really want to hear more from offensive line coach John Benton, because he told us in the only interview that we had from John Benton that the Saints did, They need to make him more available. He talked about, oh yeah, all we need to do. He basically told you exactly how the Saints are going to run the ball against teams. He said, and I always repeat this because he's a good teacher. If I was an offensive lineman, I'd probably be doing the same damn thing, because when he said it one time and I picked it up. He's like, listen, fam. And I knew what he meant because we watched a lot of the 49ers and we seen these type of offenses. They do the same stuff. They'll go to a spot on the field, stop, and then turn the block. They'll seal off the edge so guys can get behind them. And that's something that he was teaching. It was like, okay, do you have the guys to do it? Oh, yeah. And his thing is you need big athletic guys to do it. And they're doing it. And not only are they doing it, but everybody else is doing it. Foster, Jawan, Elvin, all these guys, the full Adam Prentice, all these guys are playing at such a high level. It's ridiculous, man, how good they're doing. So if you want to play with the Saints, man, you're going to have you got to have a very high IQ and good instincts to be able to figure out what they're doing, and the athleticism to stop the weapons at the year. Because knowing what they're going to do is one thing, but you got to get to Elvin Kamara. You got to get there. Here we go.
I like both tight ends. Jawan Johnson is your receiving tight end. He can run choice routes. He's a threat to stretch the field vertically. And they got my old guy, Foster Moreau from the Raiders. He's a Gruden grinder. Here's a guy last year that was battling cancer. The guy's battling cancer. He got a high ankle sprain. This year he's healthy. He's fresh as a daisy. He's blocking, running routes, having fun. And he is a Gruden grinder that gives them a lot of character and leadership and enthusiasm. That stuff is contagious, man. And every week, Clint Kubiak has a handful of wild formations. Last week, they break the huddle, and Rashid Shaheed, their fast wide receivers, playing tailback. What the hell's he doing? Last week, Derek Carr starts off at quarterback. He motions out of the backfield, and they snap the ball to Taysom Hill. One week, he's got Taysom Hill coming this way, Kamara going that way. It's a beautifully orchestrated offense, but it's the execution, it's the attitude and the effort that this Saint team is playing with. And it starts with the leadership of the head coach, the coordinator, the quarterback, and everything's falling in place for the Saints right now.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Old Chucky, man, he excited like he's a black and gold, man. I think he secretly is. But listen, he's absolutely right. And we talked about the tag that was given to the offense as positionless football. Positionless football, you taking players, wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, playing him at a running back position, going, and then his skill set is so beautiful. Even though he's taking the tops off defenses, you give him a ball like the runner, it's seamless, right? Like he just does it all the time. Taysom Hill's the same way. And that's a part of it. You don't know where these guys are going to be, and if they're out there, you don't know what they're going to do. Like you said, Taysom plays all these positions. Remember in the Panthers game, they had Taysom back there as a quarterback. They gave him a snap. Y'all remember one of the favorite plays I liked that happened against the Dallas Cowboys last week? We covered it on the Patreon stream. It was when Derek Carr was behind the pocket. He was in a shotgun and he was looking around, and then all of a sudden he just runs off to the right. The Dallas Cowboy people, because you can see that on the footage, Carr's just standing up there and he just takes off right before the play, looking around, and he just takes off and runs off to the right side, right, the line up. And the defense was looking at him like, what is he doing? Right. And the moment they start looking at Carr runs off, the ball snapped to Taysom, and then they had the game. So like I said, they're doing all this stuff to the defenses, and the defenses are confused, or either they're reacting slower and they're overthinking, and the Saints are hitting them. They busting them. So yeah, it's very fun, no doubt about it, to see what these guys got going on. Thank you, Bronze, man. Appreciate you for being a member for 9 months, man.
Thank you. Fuck too kind.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Like I said, I might have to change that, man, coming up soon, man. We don't know what's going on with that whole little situation. I don't know. We might have to change the Jay-Z up out of here, man. We're going to have to see what's going on here, brother. All right. So big ups to y'all, man. Thank you, brother, for that. All right. So anyway, man, let's move on to Mr. Dennis Allen. Let's say DA had something to talk about earlier today. Let's kind of listen at a little bit of it. I'm not going to play all of it, but y'all please feel free to kind of put y'all comments or questions in the chat, and I'm going to do my best to answer them. So here we go.
All right. Go ahead, fire away. I don't have anything for you. Not all at once.
How's Taysom?
Huh?
How's Taysom?
Taysom's great. Yeah, he's great. He'll be listed as questionable on the injury report. And then we'll see how he does over the next couple of days.
Was he limited?
He was limited again today.
More of a game time decision kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he's able to go, he'll be out there. That's for sure.
How often do you come across a situation like with Taysom where if he were to miss, you're kind of missing somebody at several different positions and things like that? Is that unique when it comes to Taysom?
Yeah, he does so many different things for us, and so, it's not like you just have one guy that goes in and does his role. It takes a bunch of guys to do his role, so yeah, he's obviously an important part of what we do.
Do you see?
I just like the fact that how powerful in offense of how Clint Kubiak used Taysom versus what Carmichael did. Very interesting. How diverse and different are the perspectives of people, right? A guy with an imagination versus one that's not. That's a scripted guy, and knowing what to do with said players. Taysom Hill is unguardable. I mean, he's not just slow. He's not a slow plodding guy. Taysom Hill has speed. Taysom Hill has power. Guys don't want to tackle Taysom Hill. He's difficult to bring down. Now, rarely you'll see guys. I've seen a guy have an open field tackle on Taysom. I was like, wow, that dude, that's, give him a thumbs up, because that usually doesn't happen because he's aggressive. He uses his stiff arm. He's elusive at times when he needs to. And sometimes his speed is so puzzling to some of the defenders that he surprises them. So it's very interesting, man. But it's just the Taysom, just outside of what Taysom does, it's several of them. There's several mismatch nightmares. Alvin Kamara could be moved all over. So could Rashid Shaheed. So could Taysom Hill. You see what I'm saying? The Saints have several guys that they can do that with. They move them all around and create mismatches. So the defense has to account for all these different people. I don't see how they're going to do it, because you got to be used to what the Saints are doing. I don't think Philly has enough tape on it. They can study whatever they did with San Francisco. That don't mean that's going to give you an edge against the Saints. No disrespect to San Francisco. They have great weapons out there, but who got a lineup like this? How the Saints have. And then they have this extra chip on their shoulder, the funk over the last 3 years, and Alvin Kamara not getting paid. All this stuff adds into this beautiful elixir that the Saints are currently drinking through 3 weeks. All right, Scoop says, Q, the Eagles may try to force us into zone D by giving Hurts the green light to take off early and often. Yeah, that's why the Saints have to be on guard against Jalen Hurts. We got to get Willie Gay in the game. Willie Gay's healthy. He'll be, something tells me and you and everybody else out there that Willie Gay is going to be a big part of this here game. Because that's why they brought Willie Gay in, for people like Jalen Hurts, Chase Young too. Those guys make our defense a hell of a lot faster. We're going to talk about containment. We're going to talk about spying the guy. These are the guys you set this up for, because if you allow Jalen Hurts to leak outside the pocket, to ad-lib plays and create plays outside of the pocket, you asking for big trouble. That's how he was able to topple the Saints the times where he did play them. The Saints he broke containment. The Saints were undisciplined, and he made them pay for it. You can't do that. You got to contain him to the best of your ability. And if you got to send guys in there to knock him around, you better do it. You got to make his life very uncomfortable, and you got to take his running attack away from him. So, I mean, that's a handful for the Saints. But the great part about it is I still say the Saints is a top 10 defense. They should be up for this challenge. They're like, yeah, man, well, let's see what we can do. Not like, oh, my God, we don't know we're going to. No, I think they're very enthused about the opportunity to take this guy down. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Here we go.
Feedback from practicing against this offensive scheme for your defense this summer, as opposed to, trying to stop the run, they run the ball so long. Does that help your team?
Well, look, yeah, there's a benefit to going up against an offense like this with so many, shifts and motions and things like that. So yes, in that regard, not necessarily against this team, because it's a totally different type of run scheme. This is unique in that what they do, and having the ability for the quarterback to run with the football makes it a different kind of challenging. So run defense is run defense, though. It's all about, understanding where your fit is. It's all about eliminating space in the defense. And so from that standpoint, that was beneficial for us this summer.
Yes, indeed. All right. Son of God, thank you, man, for being a member for the last month. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you. You're far too kind.
All right. Thank you, KB. Shout out to thank you, son of God. KB, shout out to you. Baraka, shout out to you. Larry, I see you, fam. Appreciate y'all as well. We got them, bro. We in this thing. Eagles have 2 big tackles. There will be problem for the Saints O-line and run game. Yeah, they haven't played well. But that's what Bird Game 31 was saying, that you go back and you watch some of the interviews from the coach, because that's what I was doing too. I was like, let me hear what these coaches are saying from Philly. Because Philly's coach is not he ain't happy. So Vic Fangio is like, man, listen, we got to do something. So we'll see what they got going on, man. But the whole point of the matter is, man, listen, they got Big Jordan down there. They got a few other guys. They're going to be we will be challenged. They're challenging these guys. Hey, man, y'all got to get busy. A lot of them guys' stats look pretty bad, you know. So the Philly defense, man, even though they didn't look like all that first 2 weeks, that could radically change. So I'm not really counting on that to be the case, you know what I'm saying? Because something tell me that they're going to give us a better effort, man. Yeah, this team is I don't disrespect the prior 2 teams, but you're thinking Dallas might have been what Philly's supposed to be insofar as you got a quarterback and a running attack, and you got a good wide receiver and a good tight end and a good offensive line. So in that essence, they'll level up, in my opinion, because they actually got a running attack. That Saquon Barkley. So it'll be interesting, man. To be honest with you, here's Dennis. Go ahead, D.
Quarterback practice that you actually see a lot across the NFL, or is that more one of those kind of halftime adjustments?
No, I think it's something that you see against mobile quarterbacks. You see, and everybody talks about spying the quarterback. Spying the quarterback's great, but whoever's spying the quarterback's got to be able to get him on the ground. There's a technique that's involved in that. And so it takes some practice at being able to do that. So, but it's certainly something that you see teams utilize every now and then, in particular, when you're facing a mobile quarterback.
Well, Dennis Allen going to be doing it. And spying a quarterback is one thing. You got to be able to tackle and get on the ground. I know for a fact that Willie Gay can tackle his ass off, and Willie Gay is very fast. And that's your best chance of spying a quarterback, because it better not be DeMario Davis, and it damn sure better not be Pete Werner. You ain't spying no quarterback with DeMario Davis and Pete Werner. No, sir. No, sirree. It's got to be Willie. No, sir. It can't be Willie. It got to be Willie Gay.
You guys are healthier now than you were week 1. So when you guys have been able to progress in the last weeks?
I think you're going to go through times in the season where you're banged up. There's going to be times in the season where you're particularly healthy. We're starting to get some guys back that were out. Guys are starting to come back and practice and work, but it's constantly evolving each and every week. This is a physical game that we play. So look, you just got to be able to adjust. And I think, hopefully we have the good fortune of, not having to deal with too many injuries.
Going back to the spy, and the fact that you have 3 linebackers that are versatile and have speed up and down, not really help, how efficient is that to switch up the spy and coverage at the same time? You have to have some speed to execute a spy if that's what you're going to do. Because typically you're doing that versus, like I said, mobile quarterbacks that can run. This guy's unique in that not only can he run, but he's big, he's strong, he's powerful. He's a hard guy to get down on the ground. So, I would say having some speed would be something that you would need to be able to spy. Devonta Smith will most likely be the top receiver this week if A.J. Brown is out. What have you seen from him so far that allowed him to have success?
Look, I think he's highly competitive at the ball. I think he's got good speed. I think he's an outstanding route runner, savvy route runner, so he understands how to get open. And I think that's, a unique skill for a receiver. And then he does a really good job at the catch point of he's not a big guy, but he plays big man's game at the catch point, and I think that's what allows him to have some success.
I've heard other coaches mention that Jason Kelce was someone that you had to plan for as an offensive lineman. Are there a lot of offensive linemen in the league that you guys like would have had to prepare for it? Like, how much does losing him change?
Well, I think the unique thing with him is, he was just so good in being able to pull and get to the second level and do a lot of different things. And so, you would see teams, at times would try to cover him up and try to keep him from being able to, pull and get to the second level. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's a lot of offensive linemen that you're necessarily game planning for. You're always paying attention to the matchups, but I wouldn't say that you're game planning for other than, if we're trying to get a particular matchup, more often than not in a passing situation.
Do they have a lot different without him, or has it changed a whole lot?
Well, look, I mean, I think Juergens is a good player. He's a young player. He's playing a different position than where he played at last year. So I'm sure there's some, call it growing pains, I guess, with playing that, changing positions or whatever. But I mean, it'd be crazy to think it didn't affect him at all, to think you lose a Hall of Fame player and, it doesn't affect you. And the center is, he's involved in a lot in terms of the communication and making sure people are going to the right people. And so it's probably a better question for them to answer. And yet I got to assume that, if you lose a Hall of Fame center, it probably affects you.
That is when the dome gets be the dome, people really into it. Does that change what you can do? The defensive play caller, did you find yourself maybe like tapping into that advantage mid game sometimes?
Yeah, I don't think it. It's something that you tap into in terms of changing a scheme or a game plan or whatever the case may be. I definitely think that the dome has an effect in a lot of different ways. It has an effect on our opponent in that it's hard to hear, so it's hard to make adjustments, it's hard to make checks. You're going on a silent cadence generally, So I think that's, challenging for the offense. I think it provides a little burst of energy for us, both, offensively and defensively when the crowd's working like it is. Now it's a challenge defensively too, in terms of making checks and communications and things like that. I mean, anything you're trying to do verbally is just as hard for the defense as it is for the offense. So I think as we do that, we kind of got to pay attention to, when we're putting a game plan together, we got to kind of pay attention to how much we're, trying to make adjustments and stuff.
Yeah, when you're going up against a team with someone on the roster you might refer to as an instigator, particularly talented drawing.
Is there a particular guy you're talking about?
Is that something you just spend a little more time in the week on outside the game?
Yeah. I mean, we got to make sure we discuss it. We can't get involved in any type of, extracurricular activities.
Does it make it easier to do that or harder because they all know him so well?
Well, we still haven't said who that him is, so.
I think we know who him is. But yeah, because that's the, I love the chippiness, because like I said, at times last year, we didn't have the chippiness, man. We were just going through the motions. This time they dialed in, everything synced in. Everything's it's a different energy because the team is dialed in. They believe in what they're doing and they're having fun doing it. Gunham says, thinks Saints will field 3 linebackers, Gay, DeMario, and Warner, use Gay as a spy, perhaps. I mean, that could be the case, bro. I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing at times, But I know a lot of times the defense kind of looks at what the offense is doing and tries to match up the best way it can. But I wouldn't, like I said, Willie Gay, in my opinion, going to be a big part of this game. However, you need to get him out there. When you need to get him out there, he needs to play a lot in this game. And no disrespect. Pete Werner's been knocked down, drag out. Don't get me wrong, but we need a higher level of athleticism to deal with this guy, this Jalen Hurts, and even Willie will help with a guy like Saquon Barkley. He has to be a part of this game, man. He has to, in my opinion. I think that's what it is. Barbara, shout out to Barbara, says, I think Kubiak is genius enough to counter what Philly intends to do to the Saints. Yeah, I think so. I think Kubiak is I see more wrinkles. Like if we have Taysom Hill, like I said, the Saints are going to continue to do what they've been doing, fam, which is the misdirection stuff. That's a part of the offense, right? To misdirect, to confuse the defense, then get into their bag on those vertical runs, those horizontal runs, and get there and do what they need to do. So like I said, man, it's so much that they hit you with. It's so much stuff. You've seen another wrinkle with, like I said, the Derek Carr thing. When Derek Carr was looking around and he just just took the hell off, and they were looking at him like, where did he go? And the next thing you know, they snapped the ball to Taysom for a run. So, I mean, like I said, that type of stuff confuses the defense and forces them to think. They're not prepared for it. And they Philly Dallas just didn't know what would hit them. I'm looking at Philly and I'm saying Dallas had some players that are considered better than what Philly has, but at the same time, everybody's different. So how do they adjust to it? We'll see. We'll see. But Clint Kubiak is still unveiling these wrinkles. You know what I mean? Thank you, Barbara. Shout out to you. All right. Rose said 2 wins are equal. All right. Barbara says Philly should have kicked instead of going for the 4th down, coming up empty. All right. Yeah. Talk, boy. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Scoop says, so we just gonna act like they didn't lose their heart and soul on defense. And Fletcher Cox, they got to get over them growing pains. Oh, yeah. Philly's defense, man, is more bark than bite, especially with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson out there running his mouth and guys are online picking at him, telling them that he has to do a better job of tackling and stuff like that. So it's just a lot of barking going on and not too much biting in terms of what Philly defense got going on. Let's finish up with Dennis Allen.
Yeah, I think once you get in between the white lines, you're just competing and you're playing football. So I don't think that's really a factor.
Landon Young's foot, anything to be concerned with right
now? Well, I don't think long-term it is. Now, status for the game maybe, but I don't think long-term that's any sort of issue.
Is that the same foot, like related to the foot issue from a few years ago?
You know what? I don't recall.
Sorry, that was a while ago, so I don't even know if you would know that.
Yeah, hell, I don't even know what I did yesterday, much less what happened 2 years ago.
All right, that's Dennis Allen, man, and Dennis Allen kind of putting a little game down there. Shout out to y'all. Pete Davis says, yeah, you might be right, but we have too many weapons to focus on one player. That's the thing. The thing is, like, it's like looking at them. Like, we look at them, we got the order of who we need to stop. Is Jalen hurt? If you and the game plan is keeping him, is containment, right? For my football people, it's containment. You got to keep him contained, and while he's contained, which keeping him contained is easier said than done because it requires gap discipline. Holding those edges and then being very intelligent about holding gap discipline. Because if you pressure him, he sees a slither of light, he's going to take off. He's no apprehension whatsoever in Jalen Hurts' game. If he sees something, he's gone, just like that. And you don't want him running around like that because he's a backbreaker. The dude, you can have the Eagles 3rd and 15, and then you slip up, lose containment, and Jalen Hurts takes off and picks up the 15 yards. You had him. That lets you out the defense. Gives light to the offense, to their offense, gives their offense energy. I've seen that far too much during this time with Philly. Him doing that, him running around making plays on them. So we can't do that, man. We got to do everything that we can to stop that stuff from happening. You know what I'm saying? We can't let Jalen Hurts break containment and run around there and create plays for them and extend plays on the run and all this type of stuff. The Saints going to have to contain them, and then they're going to have to put guys in there to go after them and knock them down. Contain them, and then if you can, spy him too. You got to dedicate a guy to Jalen Hurts. He's a guy that you must spy him. Keep Willie attached to him this whole game as much as you can. I know I don't want them to put Pete Werner in there as much, but, you're going to have to probably end up giving Pete some burn in there. He deserves it. But at the same time, man, yeah, you're going to have to spy him. You got to contain and spy. And then at the same time, you got to stop Saquon from doing his thing. So that's a tough 1-2 punch to be concerned about right there and force Jalen to be a QB quarterback from the pocket. I'd rather that than him running around on you. That's a backbreaker. So yeah, and then that's two of the big things we have to worry about. Everything else is underneath that. It's not as big worry is him, Smitty. If we doing that with Jalen Hurts, then I think the defense can cover up Smitty. It'll force somebody else to do their thing. Saints will have to make sure they keep an eye on Goddard and then Dotson. I think Dotson is the guy that is the deep threat, that you don't want him to get one on you. You know, Jalen Hurts to throw the ball and Dotson running and taking the top off the Saints defense. We don't need that. So we have to be very mindful of that. But if you flip it to the Saints and look at what the Eagles got to worry about, it's a ton of stuff. You got to worry about Alvin Kamara, then Taysom Hill, then Rashid Shaheed. And then Rashid Shaheed ain't the best wide receiver the Saints has got. It's Chris Olave. And while they worried about Rashid and Taysom and Alvin, Chris Olave is getting his game going now. He done caught a couple of touchdowns on you. You see what I'm saying? And then while they cooking, the secondary people cooking you because the Saints didn't go into the tight ends and handle it. It's a lot, man. It's a lot for a defense to account for. It's a lot to account for. It really is, man. We're going to see what they do. All right, let's see. Charles says when you spy the QB is going to be in the nickel. That's yeah. Nola Sports is having the feeling Lattimore going to get a pick this game. Yeah, that pressure. Yeah, I can see Jalen Hurts getting pressured and throwing the ball up. That would be cool. Yeah. All right, Father Fool says, is Werner a better tackler than Willie Gay Jr.? Willie Gay said during the preseason that he's becoming a better tackler because of Pete Werner. So that's what Willie Gay said. Y'all remember that? Put one in the chat if y'all remember that. He said that, Pete Werner's making him a better tackler. That's what Willie Gay said. So Pete Werner is very solid. He's a very solid, very cunning football player, but he just doesn't have that type of athleticism that Willie has. That's why Willie Gay's here. That's why he's here. All right. All right. Barbara says, I just hope the Saints players don't let CG. I don't even know if Chauncey Gardner-Johnson playing, Barbara, to be honest with you. I heard what he said. But this injury report it has him listed as questionable, and he didn't play. He didn't practice all week. So I guess he'll be a game time decision. It is questionable, which pretty much means he'll be a game time decision. But it's a possibility that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson might not even play, dealing with a foot issue. So, all he can do at this point is put his foot in his mouth. That's all he pretty much can do, and probably break it off in his team if he talk too much mess. And the Saints are not going to jab back and forth to him. With Chris Olave's going to be trash talking him. You know what I mean? Is Rashid Shaheed going to? Oh no, those guys not even going to study. They ain't paying him. They ain't going to pay him no mind. He going to be too busy chasing them down. Yeah, it's going to be a problem, man, because he banged up. I don't even know if he plays. All right, L-Dub said, I just want the team to take it one game at a time, ignore the national media attention, and to play each game like it's the last game of the season. They're trying to fight to get in the playoffs. Indeed. I agree, L-Dub. That's my point on it. What's up, Brother Brian? How you doing, sir? All right, that's my point. Thank you, Molly Mall. Shout out to Trey. All right. Yeah, Scoop says, shout out to my brother Scoop, too. They run D needs to grow up quick because AK he is running with a lot. He's running with a lot of energy. He's running with a lot of passion. He's peeved, and it's a difficult situation. And then the Saints are at home, so the energy is going to be up. The Saints going to feed off the crowd, the execution, and the Saints offense is just going to keep doing what they're doing. And then the test begins, my family. If we can have, and really I want to see a defense challenge the Saints, because we have not seen that, right? We haven't seen our team really get tested, right? We've seen teams match up against the Saints and the Saints just push them over. I want to see a team match up with the Saints where the Saints would then have to adjust, adjust to a point where, okay, this team is doing this, doing that. Let's, you see what I'm saying? I want to see a test to see how good our offense is. How good are we as a team? That's it. And these early games, early in the week, I want to see that. Now, am I confident that Philly defensively could stop the Saints? I would rather put it more so on I put it to you like this, and not because I'm a black and gold man. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest regardless. I think this is just me. I think that the Saints offense will move the ball on the Eagles defense, because Eagles defense, their personnel is, they're not there. They're not bought into whatever Fangio's doing right now. There's too many defensive players that he has to call out. He was calling out people and saying that they need to step up, all this kind of stuff. But there are too many players on the Philadelphia Eagles that's not really playing that well, and they don't look dialed in. Like, where was the pride at? That was a very huge moment Monday, the Monday night matchup, where you seen Philadelphia lay down on that last drive, defensively speaking, and let those people march the field on them like that. Them people had no timeouts. They had to march the length of the field, and they needed a touchdown, not a field goal. They needed a touchdown to score. It was too many people on that defense that's not dialed in. And then you have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's the mouth of the South, but he has a foot issue. Their top wide receiver, one of the top wide receivers, is not there, so the pressure's on Smitty. They don't have I ain't gonna say they don't, because I like Jahan Dotson, but they have not gotten him in the offense yet. And this could be the game where Kellen Moore is going to try to scheme to get Dotson involved, because they know the Saints are going to key in on Smitty. So Goddard, passing options for him, Saquon, out the backfield, Goddard, the tight end, obvious, the security blanket, and they will have to get something going with Dotson, the deep threat, so he understands that. You got to understand that, because okay, they're going to cover Smitty. They're going to watch out for Goddard. That's another person we got to watch out for Goddard. So in the end, I would say that it would be that the Saints offense would move the ball against Philly defense, as opposed to Philly's offense moving the ball. Now, they'll get some plays, but when it come down to who's stopping who at the right time, I got my defense against their offense. I just got to keep it real. Now, AJ Brown, that's a whole nother because their offense goes back to, it gets a balanced normality, because you have AJ there, you have Smitty there, and then Dotson in the slot and Goddard. So the offense can spread and flow. This way, you got one dude there and no other guy there to take the pressure off of Smitty, except for the you see what I'm saying? So I would have more faith in my defense to stop the Phillies offense in week 3 than their defense stopped the Saints. I think our offense will move the ball against Philly until otherwise said. Now, you might have a few guys that will step up and play, but even Bird Game 31 said that. All these Georgia players that they were drafting, those guys haven't really performed. Just they have guys in the secondary that's been doing some good work. Like I talked about Blankenship. I talked about a few other people, but outside of that, who really, besides Zach Bowen, who else is, really doing that thing? Is Nakobe Dean doing this thing? No. Huff and all these other characters. None of these guys are stepping up. And I know it's still early on, but that's the test. They gotta show up, man. And I have more faith in my offense that team, what I seen against Atlanta, and what Atlanta was doing versus what the Saints are doing. Listen, I'm not being disrespectful, Philly. I know, because a lot of Philly people are listening. I'm just saying this. Listen, you're going to have to figure out, like, the misdirections is a big thing for the Saints. Not just any misdirection. They got guys going, and it's not like you just, okay, any offense runs misdirections. It's the personnel that's running these plays. Like, the Saints are running it so well, and the players are so impactful they work together so well that it's incredibly difficult to game plan for who these guys are at wherever. And even Gruden, he was about to have a conniption fit over it. How he was smiling, his face turned red, and he was just excited because he understands that, man, listen, These guys are floating all around. It's a living roster, as I call it. I used to say that for the basketball talk, but this is a living roster because guys are here, they're there. They're not just lining up over here, and then you get used to seeing them there. Them people, they moving these guys all the way around. Like we seen Dallas do it with one player. They did it with CeeDee Lamb. Imagine having 4 such type players, or 5, depending, and they are all cycling around just like what the Cowboys was trying to do with CeeDee Lamb, move him here, then him here, and you got to account for all of them equally as impactful. That's impossible. You would have to have a defense on its game that's played against that offense enough to know what they're about and have the athletic ability to read it and react to it to stop it. That's the game. You ordered to stop it. You had to seen it before. You had to, and not only just see it before, but you also had to have the proper amount of philosophy and athletic ability to be able to deal with it. I don't see that happening. Now, it could be a situation where Philly put up some touchdowns to make it competitive. But how do the Saints fire out the gate? Do the Saints fire out the gate like they did the last couple of games, just pile up a bunch of goddamn touchdowns on you and put pressure on Jalen Hurts? Do the Saints do that? Well, how do the Saints do that? They do it by running the ball. 180 in week 2, 190 in week 2. What's the tally this week against a team struggling? And they'll struggle against the misdirection too. What the Saints gonna put up, family? Y'all put it in it. We got 180 week 1, 190 week 2. We going 2+ this. I don't know if it'll be 200 yards rushing. Oh my goodness. 180 and 190. That's because people don't know where the ball rolling out. And if they keep doing it like that, then that'll force your boy Clint Kubiak to dig further in that bag to roll out some more plays for you know what. So like I said, man, we're going to get something good going on here. I'm looking forward to it. All right, Wallace. What's up, brother Wallace? He says, is Smith playing? Smith's a backup, bro. You might see him in the game. I don't think he's starting for him. Marley Mall says, Q, what's the word on A.T. Perry? Perry's good, bro. The injury report on A.T. Perry said that he fully practiced. He went from limited to Friday practice is fully practiced, but he's questionable, which is a game time decision. But Cedric Wilson also was listed as limited in the game. So, we'll see what's going on there. But remember last week, I think he was a healthy scratch. Y'all remind me in the chat, fam. Wasn't A.T. Perry last week a healthy scratch? He had that hand issue. So we'll see. What's up, Kel? How you doing, brother? All right, who that data says Philly's not prepared for us right now. They are hurt and not playing well enough. All right, brother Ivan says confidence builds character. Confidence builds character, builds swagger, and that's the level we're playing with collectively as a team. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you on that. Brian says if the Eagles and the Falcons play us like they played each other, we beaten both of them. Yes, indeed. That's a big part of it. Tony says, what up, Who Dat Nation? The Saints true the first 2 weeks playing like they telling the rest of the NFC. Ain't nobody playing in our home Super Bowl unless it's us, the Saints. Let's go. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate you, brother. All right. What's up, Dark Side? Our friend, our Raider partner, Dark Side, is in the building. He says Tyson, Josh Dobbs, Tony DeVito, Tommy DeVito, all mobile QBs the Saints had issues with last year. With that said, Saints still won 2 of the last 3 games against these QBs. Yeah, the Josh Dobbs thing, man. That was very weird because I don't know if the Saints going into that because they just had, I think they traded, Minnesota just traded for him like the few days before the game. That was the outstanding thing. And he was a natural. He got in there. He was making the throws. The Saints had opportunities to bring him down. They were missing the tackles on him and stuff like that. And I just think like it's a difference defensively because, like I said, Chase Young, Chase Young is a guy that gives another level there. And then it pushed Cam to a reserve role, which Cam is in some of the best shape that we've seen in a long time. He's a lot thinner and faster. So he's in a reserve role where he's more impactful. Then you got other guys there, and the Saints are cycling those guys in and allowing those guys to stay fresh. And I got to credit them for that. So, but a lot of the Saints' talent defensive end wise are very fast. They're very fast. Like Carl Granderson and Chase Young, those guys are awesome. I think, and then Willie Gay, well, I'll talk about Willie Gay. I think the Saints defense are faster. They're smarter. They have a chip on their shoulder. You know, we know Chase is playing on a 1-year contract. He wants to get paid. You know, Cam is playing for a Super Bowl and legacy. And they got other guys trying to play for names and for contracts as well. So like Willie Gay, he's on a 1-year deal. He wants to prove that he deserves to be here. So, I mean, there is a component of the Saints defense that's now well equipped to deal with the Achilles heel known as the mobile QB threat that we've dealt with. Second Achilles heel is also the mobile tight end threat that we've had issues. And hopefully I think we had the answer. And this is a big test to figure out whether that'll happen. So we'll see. Scoop says, thank you, Dogside. Scoop says their D is very underwhelming thus far. It is very underwhelming, bro, because a lot of these guys are not synced in the defense, but I always give them the benefit of the doubt because you could never say enough about the tenacity of a human being, right? They could just decide, hey, man, everybody doubting us is us against the world. And we just take it. They just come in with that force. You know, they come in with that mentality. And, you know, we have to be on guard and we have to do our game. So if you feeling good, we feeling good. We got to play our game. And our game is running the ball, getting Carr into play action mode, keeping the miscues down. And I can see the Saints walking the beat. Now we can't have no turnovers and all that kind of nonsense. We've been playing a pretty smart game the last couple of weeks. 10 penalties in week 1, 5 in week 2. We cut the penalties out. We're a lot smarter and more disciplined. We just got to keep doing it, fam. Week to week. Scoop says, Q, do you think Kubiak's game for the first 3 games in off season or just the first 2 went to film on the Eagles? Do you think that scheme for the first 3 games I've seen? Or just that's the 1 or 2 went to film on the Eagles? Well, Kubiak schemed for the first 3 games of the offseason. Did he scheme for him? Well, I guess portion of it is. I guess you could say a portion of it he had to scheme for, right? Because everything's based on the running attack, right? If he's getting what he wants with the running attack, because you can look at the film. There were a few plays where we didn't execute it properly, you know. But if he's running the ball like this, out of the misdirection with Taysom and Elvin, and then Jamal Williams was getting his carry on in week 1. Don't forget him. The Saints getting 6 and 7 yards a carry with our running backs, and the game is 5 yards per carry, 2 rushes first down. I mean, he can basically do whatever he wants to do. And that's what we've been seeing against the first 2 week teams. So I guess, you know, it's some schemes. And then he starts getting really creative. That's what it looks like to me what Clint Kubiak is doing. Because I was looking at both games, and then in the second game, I seen he was doing the same stuff. He was running the same plays, but flipping them. He had, flipping the play to the opposite side and adding different personnel. I told y'all about this before. We did this on Patreon when I was like, fam, listen, he ran the same play. Then a couple of plays later, he ran it to the opposite side with a different man. So he did it for 5 yards on the left with Elvin Kamara. Then the same toss play opposite side with Taysom Hill, who gets 6 or 7 yards. Then the opposite side again, 3 or 4 or 5 plays later with Rashid Shaheed, and he gets like a 10 gain or whatever it was. So that's the thing. He's running the same plays, right? But with different personnel. Think about that for a second. Because the defenses, they would have to, and I've talked about this all the time, it's a rhythm. I play linebacker. So I understand, like, if you put a north-south power runner in that, it's a speed component to the guy that the defense has to get used to. It's certain tendencies you figure out about the guy, especially if they scout the guy, then you know this guy likes to run here, he likes to this, that, and the third. And if it's an intricate scouting report, the guy miscarries the ball. He's supposed to carry it in the off arm, and sometimes when he does that, he might have a fumbling issue because he's undisciplined in that area. You would know that. But just outside of that, you understand the tendencies of the running back running. If they're mixing backs and you got a north-south runner, scat back, all this kind of stuff, and they're mixing runners, the defense has a difficult time figuring out the speed of these people and to adjust to what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the Saints are doing that I see. Like, they are mixing these different people in here. Rashid Shaheed with all his speed, Elvin Kamara with his speed, Taysom Hill. And we all know these players are fast, and there's different levels of speed that each one of them are coming with. That is incredibly difficult. Now, do I think Philly will be able to stop that? Nope. No disrespect, Philly, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, not enough of your defensive personnel is doing it. I don't think Philly slows it down, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I do, that's why they play the games, man. All right. Thank you, Scoob. I hope I understood your question correctly. All right. Who that said? Oh, yeah. Who that dad said? Okay, 200 on the ground, 180, 190, 200. Doesn't make sense, right? I would not be surprised. Big Velvet said 210. We gonna get 200. We've been peaking at it the last couple of weeks, man. We gonna get 200. Do we get 200 yards? We get 200 yards on Philly. Well, that's a 40 burger, dude. No, I'm sorry. It's a 30 burger. It's an elite. If you ran for 200 yards on Philadelphia, that means, you know what that means, fam? That means you are controlling the clock. That means that's going to be one of those games that's going to be north of 30. It's going to be like a 30 plus to 14, 17 game. One of them type of games. It's going to be like 30 plus to 14, 30 plus to 17. One of them type of situations. If you run it for 200 yards on them, that means they ain't getting the ball that much. You controlling the clock. Then they have to throw it, which means more than likely when they have to put the ball up in the air, that means the Saints' opportunistic secondary might come down with a couple of picks. That type of stuff. So you're in a 30, 14, 17 type game if you run it for 200. That's what I see, man. I don't know if they 40 burger, but I definitely could see a 30 burger. And I said that to Bird Game. I was like, I think it's 30s, man. I'm gonna be in no disrespect. And I was telling them, he's like, man, we don't have a plan. We don't have a chance against you guys, and you don't see any weaknesses. I was like, bro, no. I'm not saying we don't have weaknesses, because every team has a weakness. We do. We could come in there unprepared. We could be believing the hype and come in there and get knocked upside the head from Philly. There are weaknesses, because it's no such thing as a team that doesn't have any issues, because you're right. You see what I'm saying? The Saints aren't perfect. You look at the tape shows you they're not perfect. They had a lot of plays which they didn't get it off to the right foot. They had some defensive was able to get some penetration to stop a run, or a run that didn't develop well. Somebody was blocking late, didn't get over like they were supposed to. That type of stuff. So they're not perfect, but they're executing at a level where it appears that they are, but they're not perfect. They're far from there. All right. Saints says Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis need to control Saints online. Got to keep these guys from getting back on the field. All right. That 504 says I think Perry and Wilson might grab a TD this game. Love to see what's going on there. What's up, Hoodie? Says let's see who can. You win, bro. You win, my man. All right. Let's say Scoop says, hey, Q, DA is using Cam as a sort of satellite D lineman. Yeah. Moving them around and all that kind of stuff. Well, I can't think of a time when the Saints had ends this, like Cam was always the guy, right? It was either him and Carl Granderson. It was him and we're going all the way back, man. It was either Cam and Junior or Cam and somebody else, you know what I'm saying? But it was somebody like that. But you have Chase and Curl, which is the starters, and Cam can be moved inside. He can be give them some rest so they can do. So yeah, the Saints got something going on with that. And we seen Cam getting around there, making plays. He running down some people. And Cam still got a lot in his tank, man. He still got a lot in his tank out there. All right. Travis says 1,000. Oh, man. Hey, man, listen. We're going to talk about that a little later, man. I'm going to speak on that in a little bit, man. Let me go through my Saints stuff. Dark Side says best play from week 2 is AK picking up that block. Yes, sir. Love that. Saints look dominant because they have been executing their assignments at a high level. You are speaking facts. 504 says Q, did Mickey Mouse put together a Super Bowl roster right under our nose, bro? It looked good, bro. The thing is, too, you got to give credit where credit is due, bro. You can't beat the guys down if they're doing what you want them to do, right? We supported the Saints for years. It's a standard that you're supposed to keep your team on, right? You're not supposed to see when you see them, you're supposed to get on them. You're supposed to bring pressure, and that's what the Who Dat Nation, the Great Saint Think Tank, as a collective did. We bring the pressure because we know what the standard is. What we've been seeing the last couple of years, the last 3 years, is not the standard of football for the Who Dat Nation. That's well below standard. Then the excuse letting, all that was it just pissed people off. We don't want to hear that because we don't come with the excuses when you need money. You get that? We don't come with the excuse. You know what? Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what you do. You win next game, I'll give you some bread. Something like that. We don't come with the excuses. We didn't come with the excuses when we gave almost $500 million worth of money to renovate the Superdome for the Saints, who don't pay no rent on that building or the arena, get all of the concessions, get all of the parking revenue, all of the merchandising, multiple tax breaks, free buildings, and every damn thing else that you possibly don't even know. They keep it under wraps because they got a lot of that stuff sealed up. I've been talking about this for years. And then when you come for you and say, hey, man, you didn't give you all this stuff. Shouldn't have even gave them all that, but they got all that stuff, and all we want you to do is win, and then you making excuses. That's how I look at it. That's how I view it. You see, any other way is an abusive relationship. I talk about this all the time. If you don't want to be abused by the person you're dealing with, then you got to be able to know what it look like. You got to understand what a narcissist is. You got to understand what an abuse is. You got to understand and have standards, a floor in which you stand on, or you're not going below that, because that's the problem. A lot of time we don't have standards. You blaming this other person you don't even supposed to be with because they don't have no standards. They standards way down here, yours up here. That's something about when they talk about being equally yoked. That's what the scriptures talk about, being equally yoked. What does that mean? That means standards. That means not doing what the guys that rock with the P. Diddy's do to get it, Meek Mills and all these dudes that talk all that gangster stuff, but you hear them on that tape. It's awful, man. It's awful. Talk all that shit. Talk all that mess. Killed 1 million people on the music thing. 1 million people. And that's what they do. There's a standard, man. If you don't have no standards, this world will take you, ball you up, step on you, and destroy you. You got to have standards, man. You got to have morals. You got to have a code, a successful code that is in par and in line with the creator of the universe, not the other dude that who created him. That's what it come down to. If you have standards, I promise you wouldn't have them kind of problems. You wouldn't have them because you would seek, and you would. And see, another thing is too, people get a lot mad with people because they be wasting their time. They be wasting their time. And we know that's one of the most valuable commodities that you don't get back. It ain't about the money. You can burn through some money real quick. Everybody done did that, but you don't get that time back. That's why it's really up to that person to be controlled, understand what standards are, and make a list of standards and things that you want to do or who you are in this type, and stick to them. Stick to them. Don't ever compromise. I tell the ladies that all the time, don't compromise. Don't compromise yourself. Don't compromise. Men, don't you compromise yourself. Don't compromise yourself. Because you hear all these dudes out here giving it up for money and doing all this craziness, man. Now they talk about Baby Earl and all. What's going on here, man? Oh, my goodness, man. All for a mighty dollar. Oh, my goodness, man. All right, Giovanni says, give me a score prediction, Q. I'm going to say 30. I'm going to go 30. 34-17. Oh, no, 35-17. 35-17. I'm going to say 35-17. Julius says 40-13. That would be cool. Scoob says, if we score 40, that will be the first time in history a team has scored 120 points in 3 games. Like Quan said, that's legendary. That would be awesome. And it's not beyond it, too. Barbara says 38-21. All right. What's up, Jay Sticks? How you doing, sir? OG Jerry says 35-17, black and gold. All right, OG, I see you, brother. All right, Brian says taking beta. How long does it take for Peyton Turner to get? I don't think, you know what? I think Peyton Turner's going to be all right, because Peyton Turner is playing a role where he is the 4th defensive lineman out there. I think Peyton Turner might play all of these games. He might play all these games, bro, because he's the 4th guy there. So he's not playing a ton of reps anyway. He getting some reps, don't get me wrong, but it's not, unless injuries start to hit the Saints, and things might change it. But I could see him doing it because there ain't no pressure on him, right? It used to be pressure on Peyton Turner. There's no pressure on Peyton Turner anymore because he's not the man. The Saints, when they picked up Chase Young, that was the end of Peyton Turner. I told the family members that when we got him. You heard me? I told him that then. All right, what's up, Kyle? How you doing, Colorado, man? Shout out to you, man. Good day, man. I had a good day, good week, man. It was busy for me, but hey, man, it's already always busy for me, Scoop says, do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. Indeed, fam, that could be hell. Fam, listen, I always give out and talk about it, fam. I don't, I'm not putting anybody down. I'm talking to the family members out there that have been through some experiences. Because me personally, listen, I done been through a lot of stuff too. Y'all know. I always talk about my baby sister. I talk about my best friend, Too Mean Eddie. He passed away a year and some change before my sister did. So it's been like it was my best friend, then it was my baby sister, a year and some change later, and then a lady that I knew for a long time that was a very special person. She passed away. She had cancer. I shared that story with you. So it's like bam, bam, bam. And then a lesser person who didn't have anything in here would have been taken over by all of the negative and bad thoughts or whatever you want to call it, because it happened all the time. The wrong spirit get on you and it take you down. And this kind of beings that's out here. That's what happened when you give up. You can never give up. You gotta tie yourself into something larger than yourself. And that's the relationship you have with the Creator. It's not an external thing, it's an internal thing. Like I just dropped out, I talk about energy. Energy is inner God. That's why you plug into, when I say you plug into something, you are a being that has God energy in him or her. So you're walking around and you're feeling this kind of way. What are you talking about? Everything, the Most High gave you everything inside of here. You got to link in. You got to develop your own personal relationship with the Creator. You got to learn to pray. You got to learn to get that ability up. You got to be able to be patient. You got to be able to pray for things that'll help you empower yourself. You got to pray for humility. You got to pray for different things, man, whatever you feel you need. If you need the truth, if you ask for the truth, you better have a spirit that's strong enough to deal with what the Most High going to give you. And you will be tested. That's how it goes, man. In the universe, that's how it is. Even the most dedicated believers are tested. They are. They are. So like I said, a lot of these guys that make these little bargains, they ain't supposed to be doing that. So I often caution my people, hey, listen, if you don't want to waste your time, listen to me. Because I've been there. I experienced people and been there. We done that. I'm telling you, listen to me. When the words come through to you, you're supposed to hear them, you're getting them for a reason. Like I say, most of the times you might not get this from some cat in a $5,000 or $10,000 suit. That's how the world is. Sometimes you get game when the Most High put it in front of you, like, you know what, that's speaking to me. And I get that. Shout out to the brother, man. Sent me a message, man. Some kind of way, I couldn't find the message. I was trying to reply to the brother, man. I forgot who said it. But there would been a lot of family members be saying, Q, you've been dropping a lot of positives. Always try to sprinkle it in there because we need it. These are some trying times for us, the devil at play. Him and his little people are running around trying to create chaos. And I believe people are scattered and confused. And it's time for us to cut that out. But yeah, this P Diddy thing, man. it's very weird, but not. I mean, listen, fam. There are books on this stuff. There's books on this stuff, and I'm gonna caution you guys to not just pay attention to him, because usually when they do this, something else is going on behind the cover that you probably want to start watching out for. And usually when a guy like that goes down, if you know it takes powerful people in their society, in their world. Only a powerful person or people can take him down. So whoever he pissed off, they got all them people going after him. So if that's the case, and you know it is, then who are they? And the ones that run around, they won't see a case. He'll go down, and the ones that they want to take down will go down, but the ones that run it won't go down. You get what I said? Because they run the people they sending over there to him with justice we talking about. You know? That's what I said, man. Don't be fooled by none of this, man. Don't be fooled, family. Don't be fooled, saints. We too smart for this, man. It's the same stuff all over again. All right, Richard says, I have standards, but I love my kids. I make sacrifices in my life, so I stay close to my kids. I love my kids more than I love. That's good, Richard. That's good, Richard. That's very positive, my brother. You know, I would never say you do anything else, man. But listen, you know, like I said, that's, you know, if you need any answers to whatever you get a little question in there, just, you know, drop a prayer. Talk to the Most High, my friend. I know, you know, that's what it's about. All right, Backwoods says humble and wisdom indeed. Pete says they are the gatekeepers. Yeah, and for the level of hell. Gatekeeping for hell. That's what it is, man. All right, Brian says taking bets. How does yeah, I got that one. Thank you, Brian. All right, he also says, I said the same damn thing. Is that two different comments, bro? That you had that was the same way? I think I got all of them. All right. Yeah. Pete says spiritual awareness. Yeah, it's true, man. But it's certain people, man. Hold on. Let me see if I can show this to y'all. Hold on here. Because when this hit, all these different dudes, this was, I think all that dropped the other day. And then all this happened. Right? Let me see this. All this happened. So you had when his stuff was announced, all these people dropped out and they were there for years. This dude, Kevin Lyles, the Sony Music dude, stepped down. Warner Music Japan president and CEO Katz Kobayashi stepped down. And there are others behind the scenes stepped down. So like I said, man, you know, it's already a done data. They just saying announce a lot of that, man. But like I said, it's not who you think. He'll go down because he was out of control. But like I said, man, there are other people that's stronger than that has more position. You know, it's very similar. It's like in the in the Christian church, like you have a bishop and, you know, you got like an order in the church, right? It's the same thing there. Same thing. You know. All right, Scoop says, can Alante get a please? Can he get a 1.5 sacks, Scoop? I mean, he could, man. The Saints could. I think Dennis Allen would throw Alante at him. Alante might be able to. I don't know. That's a difficult order, man. Because Jalen will see those blitzes where a Bryce Young did not. You remember that Bryce Young had an opportunity. I was like, man, when I looked at the tape, I was like, all those was on Bryce. I don't know what he was looking at. But he wasn't looking at those blitzes at all. And I was like, doing the play-by-play, I was like, that's on Bryce Young. Bryce Young's supposed to look at that defense because Alante wasn't disguised on none of those blitzes. He was right there. You could see he was, you know, running at you. He was about to run at you before you snapped the ball. He just did not look at it. I don't get what he was looking at, but you know, but Jalen Hurts is going to be a lot more smarter than what he sees, you know, pre-snap. Well, Alante looking at him and all that, and he'll take it as an opportunity to kind of take off. He don't have that guy he'll take the hell off in a moment's notice. It's just like that. That's what he did us at LSU. We had one of the tough defense we had at LSU. But Devin White was there, and man, that kid ran through them people, man. They were containing him at first, and then he just started to ripping and running on them and everything. That dude, that guy is awesome, man. He's awesome, man. They saying that he in Bird Game was saying that he was not totally comfortable in that offense, and that's why he hadn't really been looking like something to speak about Jalen Hurts. So he kind of dropped some game on. That's why I say, family, if y'all didn't see that Saints versus Eagles preview stream, y'all go back and listen to it, man. He dropped some really good game about the Philadelphia Eagles, about their tendencies and players and stuff like that. A lot of good information in that show, man. All right, we'll see, Scoop. I hope so, bro. I'm with you. Who that execute the type of work that I just retired from, I'd rather not say. Family, y'all don't know half of the mess that is going on. You sound like he was a law enforcement person there, who that daddy, man. But yeah, they got a lot of stuff going on, man. That's what I was saying. I always tell the family, I was like, man, you know what's one of the major problems overall people suffer from is naivete. Naivete is killing people, man. It really is. It's offing people. Naivete is hurting the hell out of people. Because the thing is, like, this is the time where people, like, the truth is going to be unveiled before you, and the truth with these people are doing, and it's very ugly. It's nasty. It's trifling. So when they unveil it and you look at it, it's like, oh, it's grotesque. You know, it's an abomination. It's grotesque. You're like, oh man, look at what's going on here. But you can't look away. You got to be armored up. You got to be strong in here. Because if you're going to face down evil, that's what you're going to get. It's not going to be pretty most of the time. It's going to be grotesque and ugly. And it requires a lot in here to do it. You know, so man, if you're talking about being a spiritual warrior, man, you better arm up, because that evil is ugly. And you looking at it, you looking right into the eyes of this evilness, and it's all this nasty, trifling stuff that's going on. My goodness. That's why I say you got to be connected into a lot more, man, than what we saying, for real. Yeah, Scoop said that got the church hierarchy set up like that. Yeah, anti-Levy. Yeah, that guy. It was crazy. Scoop's talking about anti-Levy. Maybe I'll put something on Q or Big Q about this guy. But it's basically Leviathan spelled backwards if you look at it. The man's name is Anton Levy. He was a well-known Satanist, but it's basically Leviathan, the spell backwards or read backwards. It's crazy. Lewis says, hey Q, do you have a theory on why Dennis Allen has issue with mobile QBs? I think it's talent, bro, you know, because we had issues. At the same time, you know, it was the mobile QB situation. Then it was the tight end, the mobile tight end situation. Remember, we used to get killed by the tight ends too, right through the same process where we dealing with the mobile QBs. We still have problems with the mobile tight ends right around the same time frame. You know, we just didn't have the offense, the defensive talent, athletic wise, to keep up with Hurts and keep up with Lamar Jackson. Like, the Saints will go for him and then he would just take off. We couldn't do nothing with that. And you know, and then as we got a little early, we started realizing Demario Davis is not as fast laterally and that he needs a complement. But we started seeing, like, the Saints defense really look good when they had a Quan Alexander. They had the what's the brother name from Green Bay we let go? No, he came from Minnesota. What's his name? I always forget that man's name. But he's starting for the Packers, I want to say right now. His name's it's not Preston Smith. I think that's somebody else. I always forget that brother's name, man. He was here. Y'all knew what I'm talking about. Put it in the chat, fam. I'm gonna look it up right quick because it's gonna jam me up. It's gonna jam me up. I ain't going. Eric Wilson. So y'all have to think about Eric Wilson. Eric Wilson was a guy that was here. He reminded me of like a linebacker version of Cam. He had the bright-eyed, bushy energy that Cam had. He played really well next to DeMario. The Saints put him on the practice squad. The Packers pilfered him, and he's been starting for him ever since. But that was the thing. Like, we didn't have that speed linebacker next to DeMario, and DeMario getting older, he getting a little slower. He's still intelligent and productive, but he's not as athletically gifted as he used to be, so you need somebody there. And Pete Werner is cunning, very intelligent, knows where to place himself, but it was a knock on him athletically coming out of college. I'm Ohio State. The knock was he's incredibly productive, intelligent, but his lack of athleticism is the thing. And it showed from time to time. That's why the Saints say, Willie Gay, he go a contract, come here. The Saints need that speed component. They have that, and the fact they have Chase on that side who can be able to, who fast enough to kind of run after these guys, and Willie there, that they hoping that could be the missing link to kind of stopping this mobile QB thing from happening. But it's a test. We'll find out if they got anything to it. You know what I'm saying, Brother Lewis? We'll see, man. Thank you for the question, man. All right, what's up, Snake Bite? Big ups to you. Who that daddy says, we live in very evil world. Families remember objects and mirrors are closer than they appear. Stay. Okay, thank you there. Appreciate you, bro. All right, Giovanni says, can you remember that terrible? Oh, yeah, Curtis Lofton. Yeah, Lofton used to be the linebacker for he came, oh my goodness, Curtis Lofton. He had some decent game. Well, nothing inspiring. I probably would say he probably was the best free agent we ever got from Atlanta. I mean, we really never got anything worth a damn from Atlanta. We bring free agents in here. But he probably I don't know. Curtis Lofton would probably be that most productive. It depends, man. Let me look up something right quick because I'm thinking of another name, but I don't remember if we got him from the Falcons or we got him before the Falcons. That's who I'm thinking about. Okay, there you go. I was thinking about Ashley Ambrose. That's who I was thinking about. I was thinking about Ashley Ambrose. I was like, probably the best guy we got. But Ashley left the Bengals after 3. He was with the Colts for 3 years. He was with the Bengals for 3 years. And then in 99, he was signed by the Saints. He played 16 games for the Saints. He had, Ashley had 6 interceptions. And let me put him on the screen. Matter of fact, here you go. Ashley Ambrose, fam. Y'all remember Ashley Ambrose? Ashley was actually pretty good from Mississippi Valley State. He's from New Orleans. But Ashley Ambrose was a good solid cornerback, man. The Saints had him in 2000. I mean, in 1999, he started 16 games. He had 6 interceptions for the Saints, and then he left. He left the Saints and went to Atlanta for 3 years. Right. And then he came back 03 and 04 and had 3 picks and 6 picks in 2 years with the Saints. So it's not the same. So Ashley actually was a Saint first. And he was a Saint first versus Curtis Lofton. Curtis Lofton was just, Atlanta man, but I think he probably, because it wasn't, we got people at the back. We don't really, because I remember, hold on, let me see if I could pull Curtis Lofton up here. Yeah, he probably was the best free agent that we got, bro, because we never got anything from Atlanta worth a damn. Curtis Lofton was the guy, and that was prior to DeMario Davis getting here, man. And boy, we was playing musical chairs. We had James Laurinaitis. We had signed him. My goodness, man. We had some garbage, man, after, and I just thank the world for DeMario Davis. He came here and solidified the Saints linebacker room. We never had a problem since, But yeah, we had looked at Curtis Lofton. He started with the Falcons. And from 08 to 2011, then he came here to New Orleans for 3 years. And I guess he did all right. He did all right here with New Orleans. It wasn't nothing. He had 145 total tackles in 2014. So I guess he was solid. I would have to say probably Curtis Lofton was probably the best free agent that we ever got from Atlanta, man, because nothing that we got from them people was ever hitting on anything. So I would say probably he the best free agent we ever got. Yeah, I remember Curtis Lofton, man. Mr. O says, Q, it's early in the season, but what's your take if teams come after Kubiak? If they come after him, bro, I don't think this is I don't think Gary, I don't think Clint Kubiak goes anywhere, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Clint Kubiak goes anywhere. After this year, if they go after him, I think Clint Kubiak is gonna stay with the Saints. I'm gonna just be honest with you, fam. That's just how I feel. I don't think Clint Kubiak is gonna just, up and leave and all this kind of stuff. I think he stays with the Saints, at least for 2 years. If the Saints got to pay him, that's a whole nother thing, to kind of break him off to keep him here. But I don't think he leaves, bro. I don't think he leaves. I think he stays because, if the team goes to where we think they could go, then I think Clint Kubiak will want to stay around to see how it progresses. You know what I'm saying? Because if it creates a whole nother dynamic. If the Saints offense remain, if the team plays well and they ascend, that changes everything because that forces Mickey Loomis to dig back in and recommit. So Alvin Kamara gets his money. Certain players get their money. Chase Young probably going, and they're like, how they going to do that, Q? They're going to kick the can down the road to keep the team together, bro. That's what's going to happen. If the Saints kick in, if the Saints lock in and they make a deep playoff run with this thing, Mickey Loomis is going to double down on this team, man. He's going to give Alvin his bread. He's going to give Chase probably, he ain't going to be able to pay everybody because you still got Paulson and Debo. But they're going to do their best to try to keep this team together for the time window until, you got a couple of years left, a 2-year window based on the contracts for people like Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, and Cam Jordan. So the idea would probably be to keep the team together as long as those guys are here. You see what I'm saying? And then once the time window is over with, then you could probably see, a migration of some sorts. But I think Clint Kubiak stays, fam. I don't think he goes anywhere. I think he would want to see this through, like this year and next year. I think he wants to see it through because he left. He didn't have to leave San Fran. He took a big gamble to come to New Orleans, and I don't think it's just. I know he ultimately wants to be a head coach, at some point, but I just feel like I don't see him leaving like that. I think he'll stick around for at least another season to try to get, depending on how far the Saints get. We'll see. But that's just a feeling I got, bro. I think he stays. Scoop says I'm gonna need DA to issue a makeshift bounty on Hurts. Hey, bro, listen, you done sparked something, bro. I'm working on this report, man. They had a report that came out last week. It was kind of under the radar because a lot of news was going on. It was about Sean Payton. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all heard this, right? Y'all put one in the chat if y'all heard this. The Sean Payton thing, right? Y'all remember there was a video that came out. A guy did a sneaky camera, what you call them, the little lapel cameras or whatever, caught the guy on tape saying about the Saints, the Bounty Gate scandal. It was ridiculous. But they had he was saying it was a cover for something else. Now I'm gonna talk about it on Patreon, man. I'm gonna do a show tomorrow on that and some other stuff. But it was talking about the stuff that was happening with Sean Payton. I'm gonna cover what he was saying on the show, but it spins a whole new narrative because when all that was happening, I was like, what is this? This don't make any sense. When you was reading the documentation from the Bounty Gate thing and how they was spinning it, it just didn't make any sense to me. And then when they did an independent investigation several years later, when Paul Tagliabue went in there and started investigating, it unraveled. And it was a bunch of BS. And then they had to throw it out where they didn't have the same energy for it when they were breaking it, like it was all over the place. But then the media didn't have the same consistent energy when the NFL came out and apologized to the Saints. It wasn't nearly the same energy. So that's why a lot of people still believe the Bounty Gate thing was real, because a lot of them don't have the memo that they apologized for that already. A lot of people still believe that. But there was another layer to it. There was something else going on underneath the scenes that was happening. And man, it's a whole nother thing. I'm gonna cover it on Patreon, man. We'll talk about it on Patreon, man. I'm gonna show you all the articles and all that, man. There's a whole nother thing going on. All right, Lewis says, I love hearing that you think. Yeah, I think he will stay. Now, what's this? Okay, that's he says rose cousin. Is that rose colored glasses? Is that what it is? That rose colored glasses? I don't even know your phone had them colors. No, it's not rose colored glasses, Mr. O. Bro, I think the man stays. That's not rose colored glasses. That's what I think. It's not what I think. I think because you got to look at it, man. I know the man want to be a coach at some point, but you got to look at it. If Alvin Kamara is still here and the Taysom Hill is still here, do you really think after him putting all of this together that he would just leave it after 1 year? He going to just leave and go somewhere else? I mean, I guess it's a possibility, but my opinion is I say no. I think he stays this year and another year, depending on how far they get. You know, we just hope if they could keep it successful. But I think he wants to keep what he has working. This is not nothing new. This happens. He left San Fran for Kamara and all these other players and Taysom, and they making them look real good. You know, so you have an opportunity to have something special like this, and then you're going to just dart and go leave it to go some bullshit teams. Though we going to stay put and ride this wave and see where this goes. That's what I'm saying he's going to do. We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. All right. Dirty D says Kubiak stays for 2 years, then he becomes the head coach. That would be cool. I don't know how long Dennis Allen's contract is, though. Abby says, I think Aeneas Williams and Ashley Ambrose played high school football together at Foshi. I think you're right on that, bro. I think you're right on that. All right. Scoop says, consider Carr's player late. It seems if Mickey struck gold again with a QB contract, shades of Breeze first contract. Yeah, it took a lot. The situation is really interesting, man, to be honest with you, because like it says, when Carr came here, you know, he had this type of thing. And we were like, man, Carr is not the savior of this team, man. You know, he stepped into a situation where he was the only player that didn't know the offense. So it was all on him to hurry up and catch up. That's what it was coming down to. He even said that this past offseason, he's like, it feels good that we're all on the same page. You know, such as like last year, I was the only one and everybody's waiting for me to do it. It was a lot of pressure on him and he got hurt and all this other stuff. And then he wasn't coached right. That was another thing too. That's why I was saying there's a difference with Kubiak and Carmichael, because this accountability level is different. You know, it's a total different thing. But you can see what a good coach do for you. And it's the same thing with Gruden. Coach Gruden did the same thing. He made him accountable. And that's what kind of player Derek Carr is. If you make him accountable and you stay on him, you're going to get the best out of him. You treat him like Pete Carmichael. You have kid gloves and all this kind of stuff, and you see what happens. But this is not the same dude, man. Derek Carr is not the same quarterback he was last year. He's a lot smarter, more confident, stronger. And he put the work in. Not the same man. This is not the same guy this was from last year. He even said that in interviews. Scoop says Peyton Story got swept under the rug by promoting the fake bond. It was a fake Bounty Gate. And I'm going to cover that, fam, on the Patreon stream. Bounty Gate was a cover story for something else that was going on, that the NFL was attempting to misdirect you from. It was something else going on with the Saints. And we talked about it before on here, but I'm going to show you some articles. We're going to cover it because some people might have not heard this before or just heard some bits and pieces of it. But I'm going to go over the article on Patreon, man. And what brought it back to light is one of these guys who was worked in the NFL. It was somewhere in a higher capacity in the NFL, was just, you know, came out and was talking about a few things, man. And that, you know, he has some controversial statements, but I'm gonna play all that on Patreon, man. All right. Giovanni says, Q, just imagine if Clint leaves and Sean gets fired and becomes a new old offense. Sean Payton is not looking good right now with the Broncos. He get a lot of right now. Coach Payton is catching hell right now with Denver. Have y'all been following him? Put one in the chat if y'all been following Coach Payton. He really, the irony. Yeah, he catching hell out there, man. He catching hell out there. A lot of people on his back. All right. Sometimes the game passes us up. I was saying that sometimes the game passes you up, bro. It's a fact of life. Troy says, cover up for them pills they were stealing. Troy, you a smart man. Troy said to cover up for them pills they were stealing. What pills was that, brother Troy? Huh? What pills was that? You know. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to cover it on Patreon tomorrow for our Patreon family members, man. Y'all going to hear this. Y'all going to know what time it is. You're going to know who was a part of it, too. All right. Anyway, Scoop says maybe that's why Coach Carmichael's out of sorts because the opiate left with Peyton. They had some foulness going on. All right. Yeah. See, the family members remember. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. All right. Snakebite says, you think Peyton's regrets leaving the Saints? I don't think none of them have no regrets, bro. Peyton been here for what, 20 years? He was there for what, 19? So I forget how long Peyton was here. He was here for a long time, man. A long time. It's just, I think he got bored. You know, he would do stuff. I think Sean Payton just got bored and wanted to try to test himself. He went to television, then went over there to Denver. First, he wanted to go somewhere where they had a quarterback. And then he got Russell. And Russell was not what we thought he was, right? And the back end of his career, that fell out. That was a disaster. And then Peyton does something that Peyton never did before, which is draft the quarterback high and try to turn him into the quarterback. I told y'all for years, Sean Payton never done that before, never succeeded at taking a rookie quarterback and turning him into something. He's never done that before. He did that. I was like, wow, he's going to try to do that. He never done all the things Sean Payton done in his illustrious coaching career. He never took a high-ranked quarterback that he drafted and turned him into a respectable quarterback. Not saying the guy can't be that. Bo Nix can't be that. But I don't know if Sean Payton got time like that to wait for Bo Nix to pick it up. Maybe he does. We'll see. He catching hell out there, though. You know. All right, who that says Sean should have not been taking the Xanax. Dirty D says Pete Carmichael is dragging Sean down. He's out there tugging on him. Coach Pate said, okay, Coach Payton. All right, you supposed to have a Denver, sir. You supposed to have a Denver hat on, sir. Why are you still wearing your Saints hat? Says, how y'all doing, big? Y'all doing? You think I can come back over there? No, nah. No, it's no, brother. That's it, man. Yeah. How's Pete? Hey, Coach Payton, tell us how's Pete Carmichael doing out there? We sent that dead weight out there, man. We sent that dead weight out there to you, brother. Boy, my goodness, Pete Carmichael. Boy, you gonna talk about predictable. His play calling was predictable, and his life movements are predictable. Then we said when the first thing he do when the Saints cut him loose, he gonna go. And I was saying it for them two yesterday. When they get rid of him, they gonna cut him loose and they gonna go run right up under Coach Payton's skirt. That's what I kept saying it. And what did Pete Carmichael do? Run right over there to Sean Payton. Run right over there to Sean Payton. Predictable in play calling, predictable in life. Predictable in play. And I was like, Pete Carmichael know enough of football. Why isn't he coaching at some level? Like he's like, why didn't he, is in college as a head coach or something like that, Yeah, because some of them guys ain't he happy making a Waffle House menus. He over there making, he just old Meek Carmichael. That's what he is, Meek Carmichael. Because, dude, goodness gracious. All right, but anyway, man, let me get ready to get out of here. Listen, I appreciate y'all for letting me talk to y'all tonight. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all, man. Listen, I hope you guys have a fantastic start of your week. I know we got a few games going on tomorrow. LSU plays UCLA tomorrow in Death Valley. That's going to be a very interesting game for my LSU people out there. College football is going to be in effect tomorrow. shout out to Tulane, man. I don't know if y'all heard this or not from our Tulane Green Wave people, that the Pac-12 has already talked to Tulane. I think they have. It's I don't know if it's official yet, but it's being reported that Tulane, among 3 other teams, could be a part of the Pac-12 in 2026-27 season. So in a couple of years, Tulane will be a Pac-12 team. Isn't that amazing? Is it Pac-12? I want to say it's Pac-12. Is it Pac-12, y'all? I want to say it's Pac-12. That's going to be fun watching that, man. That's going to be fire. Yeah, the UCLA game is tomorrow at 2:30 in Death Valley. Let me see, man. Let me pull that up because I want to make sure. Because I won't say Tulane. Yeah, I think it was them and Arizona State and a few other people. I think Tulane is going to be moving. I was like, look at Tulane moving on up. And at one point, way back in the G, Tulane and LSU was in the same football conference. That was a long time ago, man. They used to be battling in the area. Imagine that. We know that, in the current era, it's not the case. LSU will run over them, but they used to be a long time ago. That's when they had that big old stadium. It had like 100,000. What was it called? Old Tulane Stadium. It was big and 100,000 plus a facility for a reason. Tulane used to sell those games out, man. The Saints would play there. Tulane was there. It was old Tulane Stadium. Yep. Let's see if I can see. Yep. It's Pac-12. Yep. Pac-12. Pac-12 meeting to discuss Memphis, Tulane. Yeah, going to the Pac-12. Now they had a little leak saying that Tulane is interested in making a move to be a Pac-12 team. Imagine that. That changes everything for Tulane, man. That changes everything for them to be in the Pac-12 and everything, because to go to a much bigger conference, that's big, man, for my Tulane people, man, just to let y'all know on that. Yes. And of course, tomorrow they're going to have some boxing. We know it had Canelo Alvarez fought Berlanga last week. He beat him. This week, we have a heavyweight matchup between Anthony Joshua. It's the British boxing heavyweight champions. Well, not champion. That's Daniel Dynamite Dubois, who has the belt, versus Anthony Joshua. These are heavyweights, big guys. That's going to be a really good fight. By the way, they got a couple other good fights here for my boxing people. And, of course, I think tomorrow, Pelican Postgame Report, we'll be doing a PPR report tomorrow. Might open up the line. It is Pac-12. I just looked it up. Yeah, it's going to be good. All right. So anyway, man, listen, I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning. A lot of great stuff, man. Sports going to be going on tomorrow. Yes. Congratulations to Tulane making that move. That's a big move for the Green Wave, man, to go to the Pac-12, man. That's going to be fun. The recruiting changes everything, man. That's going to be very interesting. And then hopefully we can get Tulane LSU games with LSU and all this kind of stuff. Hopefully we can get that too, for our local folk. Anyway, I'm going to get out on that. Much love to y'all. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Please feel free to share the show on your social media feed. I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip one. Much love. Who that to you? Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that?
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet Online. The game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps